Welcome to Accent Your Beauty. I'm Jackie Kallen. I'm with Dr. Mark Berkowitz. I would say surgeon extraordinaire, but I don't want to pump his head up. We already know how good he is. And we're with Fernando Gamarra.
That's right.
Whose brother is my doctor. So nice to meet you.
It's great to meet you.
Keep it all in the family.
That's right.
So today we're going to talk about a revolutionary new weight loss procedure, because I won't call it a surgery because it's not.
It's not surgery.
But it helps you lose weight, and it's similar to, but not the same as, a bypass or a stomach band, correct?
It's different. So this is a balloon which is placed endoscopically under mild sedation into the stomach. And essentially, once we place it into your stomach, we inflate it, we fill it with saline until it's about the size, as that balloon right there, about the size of a small grapefruit. And once it's inside your stomach, it essentially just occupies space, which results in you feeling full with less amount of food and feeling more satiated in between meals, and therefore helping you with your weight loss.
Kind of looks like a breast implant, and it is somewhat
It's similar technology to the, and the company that first developed it has breast implants as well.
So once it's inserted and filled, what seals it so that it doesn't leak?
So it has a one-way valve. So once it is filled, it will, in order to deflate it, we need to do a second procedure to remove the saline that has been inserted.
So once the person reaches their goal weight, then you remove it?
So the balloon is indicated to be in place for 6 months. So you have the balloon placed today, and then 6 months from today, we go back in and remove the balloon.
Regardless of how much weight you've lost, correct?
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So if you haven't gotten to your limit, can it be reinserted a second time?
It can be.
How much time in between?
There doesn't have to be any time in between.
So you can take it out, clean it.
Well, we'll put in a new balloon.
Put in a new balloon.
We'll put in a new balloon.
Okay. So it's not the same one reused.
Correct.
Now I have to say, this is heavy. So with that in your stomach,
Think how full you'll feel.
you'll feel
You will feel
really full.
And that's part of
Well,
how you
it
get the
weighs
benefit.
what, 2-3 pounds?
About 2 pounds.
So you're going to gain weight as soon as it goes in, right away, and then you'll start losing
But
weight.
you will lose that weight as soon as it comes out in 6 months.
Okay, what's the average amount that people need to be overweight in order to
So
qualify?
it is. So the Orbera balloon is indicated for people with a BMI between 30 and 40.
Now, is that considered medically obese but not morbidly obese?
That is both. A BMI over 30 is considered medically obese, and a BMI over 35 is considered medically morbidly obese.
So wouldn't somebody that's that heavy be better off with the complete resectioning,
Not necessarily. The beauty of this procedure is that it is an outpatient procedure. You can have it today, and you can go to work tomorrow, and no one ever has to
Really?
have you had it done. It is.
Is there any pain involved once it's down there?
There's no. Some people may experience discomfort, especially the first, maybe 72 hours, maybe up to a week, until your body acclimates to it. You're going to feel
it in there?
You'll feel it moving around. You'll feel it moving
That's
around.
got to be like being pregnant a little, except it's not kicking, it's just switching, right? But
Right,
you do actually feel it like,
And you gain more weight with a pregnancy.
yeah, I hope that you'll lose the equivalent of what you would gain from a pregnancy having that in there. So you feel like a little round ball inside of you that you can sort of feel it. Does it move around in there, or you just feel?
No, it'll move. It'll move around.
Kind of
how-
floats.
How big is a stomach that can fit inside and still have room for food?
I mean, that's going to occupy a majority of the stomach.
This is going to sound a little weird, but where does the food go? All around it?
So the food will go around
So by
it.
the time you chew the food, it's kind of, pulpy. It's not solid anymore. But what about things with seeds in it or like chips with edges? Nothing can hurt that.
No, this is made of silicone. This is going to withstand anything
that you
you
can
eat.
process. Okay, so that sits there, the food forms around it. And is it easily excreted? The
The
food
food?
doesn't get stuck on sides of it or anything?
So part of the way that it helps with weight loss, it does slow down the stomach emptying of food. So one of the ways that it helps with your weight loss is that you will feel fuller longer with your meals because it is going to slow down the emptying of your stomach contents.
So you'll actually go to the bathroom less,
Not necessarily.
or there'll be less there when you do go?
Everyone's bowel movements are different. So I can't say in general that everyone's going to become more constipated because of this, because that is not necessarily the case.
So it doesn't cause constipation?
It does
Because
not.
that's the first thing I thought of, is it
Yeah.
might bind you
No,
because
you're
all
still
the food
eating.
would gather around it.
It's similar to if you just went on a diet and you just ate less. The only difference is this is helping you feel full, so you don't have those cravings and those habits of overeating during your meals.
So you obviously feel full before you've eaten anything. So then obviously you can't eat very much. Is there a diet that goes with that? Certain foods
So
that
yes, this
work
is
well?
definitely. This works in conjunction with diet and exercise. This is not meant to be a procedure that you have a balloon placed, then you sit on the couch for 6 months, and then 6 months later have the balloon out and you've lost 30 pounds.
Oh, nuts. Doesn't work that way.
Unfortunately,
Shoot.
it does not.
So you have to exercise and eat carefully. So you can't put this in and eat hot fudge sundaes and French fries and lay and watch TV and expect
if you-
to look great in 6
Well,
months.
there's a diet program that goes along with it too. So there's a nutritional program that you can do online, and you meet with your nutritionist, and there's a group too that you can meet with. And Dr. Gamarra also has a background in nutrition as well.
Mm-hmm.
So is it heavier on fruits and vegetables and grains, things like that? Natural things as opposed to a lot of heavy meats?
So so my general rule is there's no perfect diet that fits for everyone. Generally, healthy foods where you're getting your nutritional value. It's not necessarily just veggies and no meats. You know, I usually try to steer people towards eating real foods, mostly plants, and not too much. You know, usually with those 3 rules, if you're not overeating, not snacking in between meals, eating good, nutritious, real food, you will, this along with the balloon, you will lose weight.
So what do you predict in a 6-month period? Can you expect 5 pounds a month? Is that average?
So because this is a 2-step program, meaning balloon is step 1, diet and exercise is step 2, it will be very dependent on how motivated each individual is. Those who follow the program and are motivated and do the exercise, they are dialed in on their nutrition, they're going to be much more successful than those who are expecting it to be a magic pill.
Well, Doc, don't you expect that anybody that goes to the degree of putting this rubber ball inside themselves is pretty dedicated to losing weight and is going to do what's necessary to
Yeah.
implement that, which is exercise? Do you encourage people to walk a lot, to do a lot of cardio as opposed to lifting, but move,
Both.
get your blood flowing and get your heart rate up?
Correct. Yes, I mean, I don't put limits on the type of activity. If they want to lift weights, I think that is wonderful. If they want to run or swim, the balloon inside the stomach is not going to limit what you are able to do. If anything, as you lose weight, you'll be able to do more.
Well, this sounds like a better option than the lap band, that rubber band that they put around. Do you recommend this over that for the
I
same
would agree
results?
with you. I would agree. I think this is a great option. The lap band has its place, but that's a surgery. You know, the beauty of this is that this is incisionless, it is non-surgical, it is an outpatient procedure. You have it done, you go to work the next day.
Well, we have to list those because those are all big things. No cutting, so there's no scarring. No general anesthesia, so you're not going to be out for a long time, wake up with a headache and be intubated. Also, it's something that is no downtime, basically. You can get up and go to work the next day. It sounds almost like a wonder fix for people who have that 20 to 40 pounds that they want to lose and just can't seem to get it off.
Yeah, I think for people who have tried diet and exercise, or those people who say, I've been on every diet under the sun, and I struggle to succeed. I think those people will do great with this product.
The reason we brought it into Accents Cosmetic Surgery is that we had so many people coming to me for liposuction or cool sculpting or sculpture, and they were not good candidates because their BMI was over 30, and they just would not get the kind of results they would if their BMI was in the 20s.
Well, I think that a lot of people, like you say, they come in and they think, oh, just suck it all out. Well, generally, if your BMI is that high, there's a lot to suck out, and you can't guarantee an even loss all over.
And it's not as safe when the BMI is high as well, and it's more a debulking than a contouring, and so it just makes much more sense for them to get at a healthy BMI, and then if they want to do procedures like cool sculpting and liposuction, then they can be done afterwards.
Now, do you feel that more men or more women, or is it kind of equal?
It tends to be more women. I mean, it's indicated for both,
Right, I
and
would
both
think.
will succeed equally. But more women tend to be having these placed.
And what's the lowest age you recommend? Because a lot of teenage girls have that kind of baby fat, and you don't want to go to extremes if you're 16 and pudgy. I mean, at what age do you think?
So the FDA has it approved for adults over the age of 20. However, there are 18-year-olds who are as large as any other adult and would do great with this procedure. So although the FDA has what it is approved for, because we are not bound by insurance companies, we can place it in anyone who's a proper candidate, because nothing changes between 19 years old and 11 months and 20.
And after you're 18 years old, you're not a minor anymore, so
Correct.
you don't need your parents' consent.
Correct.
I have a few questions that I wanted to ask you about it. You already explained pretty much what it is, and we can see what it is. How long ago was this approved here in the country?
It has been FDA approved since August of 2015, but the intragastric balloons have been placed worldwide for over 20 years. These balloons have been placed worldwide, I want to say about 290,000 different patients in 80 plus countries.
Wow.
So although it's relatively new,
It's been tested. We
it's
know
been
that
tested.
it works.
We know.
Yeah, and I'd love to show you somebody that it's worked on.
Oh,
so
good. Let's take a look at that, and then we'll get to the questions.
So I have struggled with my weight for my entire life. Most recently reached my all-time high. I reached 270 pounds. I had to do something to change my life.
The Orbera weight loss balloon is a non-surgical procedure that's helped thousands of people lose 20 to 50 pounds. The procedure is simple. A physician inserts the Orbera balloon, and once it's in your stomach, it's filled and helps you feel full, so you lose weight. Call or visit Orbera.com.
So here's somebody who lost 80 pounds with this system. So significant amount in 6 months' time.
That 80 pounds was within 6 months. It wasn't reinserted.
Correct.
I hope that gets everybody excited. That's pretty good results. What I want to know is it safe medically? Are there any side effects to it being in there? Does anybody ever come back to you and have any abdominal pain or any problems with it?
So I would say, like any medical procedure, there's always risks with everything. For the most part, people tend to tolerate it extremely well. There is a percentage of people who will have nausea or abdominal discomfort, specifically the first few days. Usually as your body acclimates to having the foreign body in your stomach, those symptoms go away. And while you have those symptoms, they're usually pretty well managed with oral medications.
So obviously there aren't very many risks in terms of anything medically going wrong with it. It won't rupture inside of you or cause any other problems. It just might feel weird being in there and cause a little nausea.
Correct. I mean, there's always risks of it perforating or leaking and traveling down the bowels, but I don't know if it's ever happened.
Yeah, I mean, it would be extremely rare. And, safety and sterility are very important. So we only have this procedure performed at Accents Cosmetic Surgery. We actually have 2 certified operating rooms with a board-certified anesthesiologist who monitors your heart rate and breathing through the short procedure that's there.
So it's similar to having an endoscopy, right?
Correct.
Only instead of just going in and looking around, you're actually leaving something behind.
Correct.
A little
We'll get it
souvenir.
later. And the other thing is, unlike a standard endoscopy, we will be following you closely. So this is not something that you will have a procedure performed, then we will just say, see you in 6 months. We will be watching you every step of the way. We will be monitoring your progress.
How do you monitor it? Is there like an ultrasound that you can use to
So
see
we don't
where
need
it
to.
is?
So it'll be based on symptoms. It will be by communication with myself or with our staff. We don't need to keep looking at the balloon. We know it's there. And because we will be following the patients very closely, if there's anything that doesn't seem right, we're going to be right on top of it.
I was thinking, now correct me if I'm wrong, but since it's saline, even if there was a little leak, wouldn't your body just absorb it and pass it through?
So the saline itself would not be problematic. Where the problem would be from the balloon. So
Right, so if that were to
yeah,
leak out and the balloon was in there by itself,
We can
then
get it
you'd
out.
have to
Get it
remove
out.
that.
correct.
Correct.
And it's easily removed whether it's inflated or deflated, right?
Correct. And I want to preface this by saying we are talking extremely unlikely.
Right. Well, you know what? You always want to know worst case
Definitely.
scenarios and find out that that's the minute percentage of
Right.
people that could possibly happen to. So there's a lot of happy people walking around with those in their stomach that we wouldn't even know, because obviously you can't see it there, but you just watch them getting smaller and smaller by the month. All right, I have one more question before we go to break. How long does it take? Basically, you said about a half hour. Is that what it would take to?
Not even. Usually the procedure to have the balloon placed is about 15 minutes. Obviously the recovery time and the amount of time you'll be at Accents having the procedure performed is longer, but the actual placement of the balloon is about 15 minutes.
Do you need someone to go with you to drive you there and back?
You do. Because you will be under a mild sedation, you will need a driver. Just
Similar
like any,
to a colonoscopy or something
correct,
else.
except a different way.
Different entry.
Okay. This is pretty exciting. We're going to come back and talk a little bit more about how you can have this wonderful little balloon inside of you and lose 40 pounds in 6 months. Sounds good to me. We'll be right back.
As a business owner, you're always looking to save money and cut costs where you can. And if you advertise on radio or television, you know it can get pretty pricey. If radio and TV aren't delivering like they promised, and you're looking for a more reasonably priced way to get your message to the masses, I've got an answer for you. New Radio Media. With live streaming and on-demand programming, your message can be seen throughout the day, and you can worry a little less about cutting those costs. For more information, go to newradiomedia.com or call Buzz Van Houten at 248-939-9999.
Low budget movie version.
60s TV version. Early 2000s high school pseudo-adaptation that eventually grows into the geek we all know and love version here. I'm getting paid a lot of money to be here, so listen up. Watch the Geektainment channel on newradiomedia.com. It's geek approved. It's all about you, and that's the way we like it.
Where you're going,
What you do to stay fit.
what you're eating,
what you're thinking,
and how you're feeling. Join the conversation at newradiomedia.com's Lifestyles channel.
stream the life you want to live.
Detroit. It's the home of some of the world's most talented artists. It's where techno and Motown were born. It's a city where you can experience raw, untamed rock and roll. I'm Ben Rose, and I'm inviting you to join me weekday afternoons from 4 to 5 for the Motor City Juke Joint. I'll have interviews with musicians, info on what's going on around town, and a playlist curated by me just for you. It's all right here on newradiomedia.com.
So I have struggled with my weight for my entire life. Most recently reached my all-time high. I reached 270 pounds. I had to do something to change my life.
The Orbera weight loss balloon is a non-surgical procedure that's helped thousands of people lose 20 to 50 pounds. The procedure is simple. A physician inserts the Orbera balloon, and once it's in your stomach, it's filled and helps you feel full, so you lose weight. Call or visit Orbera.com.
Okay, we're back. I hope you're as excited about this as I am, because I'm thinking of all the ways that this can change your life. I'm picturing a mother that just had a baby and is having a lot of trouble getting rid of that last 20, 30 pounds, or someone that's got a wedding coming up or a special occasion, and they know they have like 6 months before. This would be the perfect way to get in there, lose your weight. Nobody would know what you're doing because obviously it's not visible. Do a lot of people use it for that purpose?
Yeah, I think that is, everyone has their why as to why they're trying to lose weight, and a lot of times people have a wedding, they have a vacation coming up, and they want to look good in that bathing suit. Sometimes people have a bad knee and they need to lose weight before having surgery because it'll improve their surgical outcomes. There's a lot of great reasons out there. But I think the cosmetic part and to just look better and feel better and live that fuller life is one of the big ones.
Yeah, so I think, I think a lot of our people in our audience who are overweight may be diabetic. So they may be wondering, if I have diabetes, is this something that I can do?
I think if you have diabetes, this is a great reason to do it. When you have diabetes, today chronic diseases, or most chronic diseases that are associated with the most common causes of death and comorbidities in our country, which are heart attacks, strokes, diabetes, sleep apnea. All of these are associated or made worse by obesity. And not only, it's great to say that we're going to look better, but losing weight can change your life, can add years to your life. And by improving your diabetes, we can get you off your diabetes medications. We can get you off your blood pressure medications, off your cholesterol medications if you lose the weight.
You would think insurance companies would want to pay for this.
You would think.
For those reasons.
Yeah. Well, we could do a whole show on insurance companies and what they cover and what they don't cover. That's a whole separate show. You mentioned before that a large number of people have had this worldwide. But in the 3 years that it's been approved here in the United States, how many people would you say offhand have had it? Do you know?
I mean, it's thousands. I wouldn't be able to give you a number. In the United States, in the past 3 years, it's been thousands. I probably couldn't pinpoint a number.
It seems like such a no-brainer to me, because you're not being cut. There's no downtime, is minimal, and the procedure itself is like 10-15 minutes.
That's right.
After you're sedated, and then afterwards, I'm sure you're takes about an hour before you can leave the office.
Yeah, you'd stay in the recovery room around an hour.
So that's an easy afternoon.
That's right.
And you get up the next day and you're on your way to losing weight and looking better. I love it. Okay, another question. What's the maximum? Now that lady lost 80 pounds that we showed. Is that typical, or is she kind of extraordinary? Is that higher than average?
No, usually people who start with, so it's indicated for BMIs between 30 and 40. The more weight you have to lose to begin with, the more weight you'll probably lose. I think on average, people tend to lose about 20 to 30% of their extra weight. But it can be significantly higher, and it can be lower depending on how well you follow the program and you do the exercise and the eating right during those 6 months. Not only during those 6 months, but once that balloon comes out, after that balloon comes out, sustaining those healthy habits is going to help you not only continue to lose, but keep that weight that you've lost off.
And I think I'm going to stress this because I assume it's correct. It doesn't stretch your stomach out so that after you take it out, it takes more to fill you. That might be what some people would think, having that 2-pound weight in your stomach. but actually the stomach's big enough to accommodate that plus some food, so that shouldn't stretch it out.
Yeah,
correct?
so it doesn't have any long-lasting effects on the structure of the stomach itself, and I can assure you that I know plenty of people who can eat a pizza way bigger than that balloon there, and their stomachs goes right back to normal.
So is there an age at the top level? Like when you say goes back to normal, you think of younger people as having more elasticity in their skin. They can gain and lose and gain and lose and not have as much loose skin. What would you say is the oldest person that should think about doing this?
You know, there is no specific number. It really depends on, there are some great 60-year-olds, and there are some 60-year-olds who have a lot of medical issues that aren't as healthy. So it really is on a case-by-case basis. So that's why we invite people to come to Accents, where we can, do a free consultation where we can screen you and see if this is a good choice for you.
Well, Accents is a one-stop shop for everything. That's why we love going there. If you have weight problems, facial problems, anything about yourself you don't like, it's one-stop shopping. So while you're there, there's certainly some other things you could look into, because once you lose all that weight, you want to look great everywhere.
That's right.
And this, obviously, with only 30 or 40 pound weight loss, even 50, you're not going to have a lot of hanging skin like you do from someone that lost 100 or 200 pounds.
No, I wouldn't expect that from 20 or 30 pounds. But it's something then, again, the person who wanted liposuction or wanted cool sculpting or skin tightening, there are things that we can then do after the procedure where they'll get nicer results than if they did not have Orbera first.
Now, there's a great subject. You could package it. So you could package that followed with some spot reduction, because even when you lose 30, 40 pounds, you still may have areas, we all do, where there's still a little extra fat under the arm or around the hip area. So even once you've lost the weight, there's probably
There
still
are places where
that don't come off
That's correct.
easily.
With diet and exercise, there are places that fat likes to stay on.
So it might be a good idea to think about afterwards a little cool sculpting or sculpture to just perfect the picture, correct? So how many people do that? Is that a real...
So it's quite common that we get people in who have gained weight, then they go through either a diet or a procedure like Orbera, and then come to me for body contouring. And that's the perfect time. The people who do best are people who do eat right, who do exercise. They do the best as far as these procedures with body contouring. And so that's why when somebody comes to me, I feel for them, and their BMI is 30 or 40, I want to help them with a program, whether it be Orbera or another way for weight loss, to get them to the goal that they foresee for themselves.
Now, do you work with your patients as far as which things to avoid? Like, I know people, I have friends that think that you can eat good and then go out at night and drink 3-4 cocktails, and they don't realize that there's as much sugar and weight gaining, what's the word I'm looking for? Factors, weight.
Yeah, I mean, alcohol is just pure sugar, and
right,
so they're doing themselves a disservice. So it's like the person also who exercises all day long but yet smokes too. It's an oxymoron. It doesn't make sense.
Right.
But people, unfortunately, they have these habits that hard for them to push aside.
Well, liquid diets don't really work unless you're drinking water, which we know is good for you. Now, do you encourage people to drink a lot of water with that in there?
So definitely. Staying hydrated is a big thing, because people do feel full. They do tend to eat and drink less throughout the day. So we do encourage them to be constantly drinking throughout the day to avoid dehydration or...
And also to help things pass through
sure.
when you've got that in there. So another question is, and I think you kind of answered that, is who is a candidate and what you have to qualify for.
Right.
So anybody that comes to you that fits in that range, age-wise and BMI-wise, is a candidate for it, male or female, correct?
Correct. So right now, the ideal person is, the kind of person that we spoke about earlier. The person who's tried to diet multiple times, they've tried exercising, and they just have not been able to succeed with diet and exercise alone. Right now, for people who want to lose weight, you have diet and exercise, or you have surgery. And diet and exercise for many people just doesn't give you the results you want. And surgery may be too much, too drastic for a lot of people. So this kind of fills that gap in between.
It's kind of in the middle. What about supplements? Do either of you recommend any of the dietary supplements that they sell that help burn fat or decrease appetite or all the things that they claim to do?
Right, so we can do a whole segment just on that. So as part of this program, as part of the Orbera, it's not indicated. You will eat less, and by eating less, as long as you're eating good foods and real foods, that you're getting the nutritious food, you won't need a supplement. Now, where people struggle and where they start needing supplements is when you live off of fast food and chips and you're not eating good nutritious foods.
Well, who's going to go to the bother of doing this and then eating
You would be surprised.
a Big Mac?
You would be surprised.
I guess it's the same people that have 3
People
drinks
still
at
need
night.
hand-holding, right? They do.
Yeah, I mean, you have to dedicate yourself to a program,
For sure.
any weight loss program. If you don't stick to it, whether it's a diet or following up with something like this, you're not going to get the results you want. Nothing's a magical pill that instantly makes you look gorgeous overnight. I mean, if that was possible, we would all do it.
That's the truth.
But this seems to be the in-between.
Yeah, so we know that if you get the balloon, you will lose more than 3 times as much weight as if you were doing diet and exercise alone. So for those people who are motivated, who have tried the diets but struggle and need a little bit of assistance, I think this is the perfect thing for you.
And insurance does not cover it, correct?
Does not cover it.
Unfortunately, it is not covered by insurance.
They should.
They should.
Because
they should.
Like you said, it cuts down on all the other medications that people take and all the other wonderful things that losing weight does for you. When we get back, we're going to talk about the cost and some more questions about Orbera. We'll be right back.
Advertising your business these days can be challenging. Traditional radio and TV ads are expensive and, frankly, a bit of a crapshoot. Not to mention, the audience for over-the-air material is shrinking as more and more of us demand to see and hear what we want, when we want. Advertising on new radio media is a solution. With our live streaming programs that are also available on demand, your message is always ready when your customers are ready to watch and listen, all for a fraction of what you'd likely have been paying for other ads. NewRadioMedia.com. Call Buzz Van Houten at 248-939-9999 for more information.
Hey, you guys, it's Raphael of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Guess what? The only thing we can get down here in the sewer is Geektainment Weekly on New Radio Media. Turtle Power!
Do you want to see things like this?
Did you just say you died?
Well, I mean, technically.
Or maybe even something like this.
We'll do nothing but destroy your corpses and burn them all for my dogs.
Your dogs are gone.
And sometimes, a little of this.
We need to have a talk.
I take my axe and I smash it.
No!
And check out Podquesters, the show where we tackle ghoulish goblins, fiendish foes, and dangerous drakes.
Oh, like the singer?
No, the dragon creature. Anyways, Podquesters, Fridays, only on NewRadioMedia.com.
Hi, I'm Art, and we're the crew at Tuffy Walled Lake. We've been in Walled Lake for 20 years, and through our knowledgeable staff and customer satisfaction, we've become quite the cornerstone in our community, and to our discerning customers statewide. We know how important your vehicle is to you, and we take pride in our impeccable, affordable service, and we're trying to get you back on the road as quickly and safely as we possibly can. Please stop in and see why everybody comes from all over to get their cars serviced at 784 North Pontiac Trail in Walled Lake.
Well, now that you're sold on Orbera and you know that this is probably the best way to lose weight quickly, easily, without stressing yourself out, how much does this procedure cost?
So at Accents, it's $8,000 for an all-inclusive program, and Dr. Gamarra will talk more about the program.
Yes, what comes in that whole program for $8,000? What do you get?
So we talked about the balloon being in place for 6 months. So obviously this includes having the balloon placed, it includes having the balloon removed 6 months later, but this is a 12-month program. This is a program that includes an online coach where you have access to a nutritionist, where you have access to over 100 recipes, where you have access to exercise, and aside from that, you have access to us at Accents, where we will be following you for that full 12 months and keeping you accountable and helping you reach those goals. If there's any questions along the way, we're going to be there to help keep that weight loss going for those 12 months. And once those 12 months have passed and you have created these good, healthy habits, at that point you hopefully continue those habits and keep that weight loss forever.
Now, if you do take it out after 6 months and you haven't lost quite your goal weight and you want it reinserted for another 6 months, is it another $8,000 again, or is it a reduced amount the second time?
Yeah, so it would be reduced the second time, and we work that out on an individual basis. But for our viewers at Accents Your Beauty, what we're doing is the first 6 people who mention this show, they're going to get $1,000 off. So it'll only be $7,000 for the entire program.
$1,000 off is a lot.
Yeah.
That's a significant amount. And when you think about it, you have to think about it. It's a 6-month program, so it's really only a little over $1,000.
It's a 12-month program.
So that's a 12-month program.
Right.
So it's less than $1,000 a month.
Right.
Yeah, and we have financing as well, and we have 0% financing too.
Well, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because some people think I have to come up with $8,000, but you don't. You can come up with obviously a deposit, and then make a
spread it out
program that suits you. And what kind of aftercare do you do at Accents for the people who finish? They go home, they're having a little discomfort, or they have questions. Are they able to come back and forth and see you?
So obviously, the day after the procedure, you will get a phone call from me, and we will be following up. And the next week, you will see me, and we will be keeping in touch regularly. And again, there is that online coach where you will have monthly visits with a nutritionist to keep you on track. Again, this is a 12-month program, and the cost is, I think the cost is great, because what you're getting for these 12 months includes the nutritionist, includes a regular follow-up, includes the procedure, and it's an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your health. We know that people who have a BMI over 30, on average, spend about $1,500 more per year on healthcare costs than people who have a BMI under 30. We know that you have more medications, more doctor's visits, more hospitalizations, and in the long run, you will be saving way more than $8,000. It's an investment in your health. If you want to be active and still an active member of your family well into your 70s, you need to invest in yourself. We don't think twice when it comes to going on a vacation or buying, a new pair of shoes. There's that old saying that the Dalai Lama said, in humanity, they sacrifice their health to make money, and then when you're older, you sacrifice your money trying to regain your health.
So
and it makes no sense.
It's so true.
So this is just an investment in your health.
Well, I agree with that, and as someone who's in my 70s, I know how important it is, because it's not just how you look, although psychologically the better you look, the better you feel, but all the health issues that come up as you're getting older, a lot of them do relate to being overweight. And this country is probably one of the most overweight countries in the world.
And this city in particular.
Really? Detroit's a fat city?
Detroit's a fat city.
Yes, it's in the top 10.
Is it? See, I wouldn't have thought that.
I think the obesity rates in the state of Michigan is about 32% of Michiganders are clinically obese. And in our country, I think it's like 38% of the United States is considered obese.
And when you think what people spend just on things for their car, aftermarket things for their car, their stereo systems in their cars cost $5,000. This is something that you get so much more out of in so many different ways. So I think people just have to be retrained to think about how important your health and your well-being is, and investing in yourself, like you say. Why get somebody else rich when you can use that to enrich yourself?
For sure.
So that's something that I think is very important. Now, another question is, do you tend to regain the weight quicker after this is removed than you would from a regular diet or any other form of weight control?
If you continue the same healthy habits that you had and eating the same amount that you had when that balloon was in place, you're going to continue the same success that you had while it was there versus while after it's removed. This is to help kickstart your weight loss journey. This is not a 6 months, I'm going to lose the weight, like any diet, like anything you do. People lose a ton of weight on any diet, even with bariatric surgery. They lose a ton of weight, and if you go back to eating how you were eating before, you're going to gain weight because that's how the body works.
Well, that's very true. I know people that have had that, and it takes several months to get used to it, to feel better, and then start losing. And then they reach their goal weight, and little by little you see them creeping back, and before you know it.
And that's why the dietitian part of the program continues on. So the balloon is removed at 6 months, but that program continues for another 6 months' time. So you have a full year to get used to the new eating habits.
Well, I always think of weight loss as a marathon, not a sprint. You know, it's a lifestyle change. It's not just a diet. You change your life. You learn what to say no to. We go to restaurants, and the first thing they do is they come over and say, "Can I take your drink order?" Everybody has a couple drinks, all that sugar. Then they bring out the rolls and the butter or the oil that you put in it. Before you even start your entree, you're already full, but you're not going to just waste your entree. So even though you've had 2 drinks, 3 rolls, you're still going to eat. And then they bring the dessert tray. So overeating is epidemic, isn't it?
It's our culture. You know, we associate food with happiness. You have a retirement party, let's go have food. You graduate, let's go have food. It's a birthday party, let's get together and have food. It's a holiday, let's eat. It's our culture, and the beauty of this 12-month program is that we're going to help you create healthy habits to not only lose the weight that you will for sure lose with this program, but to help you create healthy habits to help sustain that weight loss even afterwards.
You know what I've noticed? I don't know, neither one of you have any weight problems, but knowing what to order in a restaurant is a real problem for a lot of people on a diet. You're at home, you can control what you eat, whether you measure the food or whether you control how much sugar, sodium, whatever. When you're in a restaurant, you really don't know how it's prepared, what's in it. Does your diet plan, the dietary plan that comes with this, does it tell people what are good things to order when they're out as well as when they're in?
So we don't give you instructions, say this is what you can eat and this is what you cannot eat. We offer you support, and if there are questions, we help you make good choices. So if you come and say, you know, I go to this restaurant and this is what I usually eat. All right, you know what, maybe that was a decent option, but this is what you could have done to make it better. And throughout the year, if you start making a small change with your diet today, and then you make another small change tomorrow, and then over the year you've made 20 small changes, the accumulation of these small changes are going to add up to great results.
Well, I love the fact that you work with your patients. You don't just put in the balloon and say, see ya. You actually work with them. Because some people don't know the difference. They think, well, if I just get a salad, it's better than a steak, for example.
Well, until they put all the dressing on.
And they put all the dressing on, and they add the meat in there, the chicken or the fried chicken or all the other things that they put in, the cheese. Sometimes isn't just a bare piece of grilled meat less calories than a salad loaded with everything?
Oh, yes.
For sure.
So those are the things that I think people need to learn as they're losing their weight, how to eat healthier, how to eat better. And there's so much social pressure. How many meetings do we have over lunch or dinner?
All the time.
It's our culture. It's the way we live in our society. So I'm wondering if there's seminars online, if there's something, people who are interested in this, obviously they can come into you for a consultation, but is there a website that they can go to read up on it?
So they can go to accentscosmeticsurgery.com, and on it they go to the body section, and there's a whole section on Orbera where they can learn about the treatment itself and see the procedure, and also see people who have been successful with it too.
Well, that's good because you want to do a little bit of research before you
Definitely.
do any kind of a procedure. The beauty of this is that it's non-surgical. As soon as you mentioned that, that's when I perked up because that's like a lunchtime thing. You take a break, take a couple hours.
See, we even
during the
describe it
day.
as lunchtime. See?
Yeah.
We're always thinking
See,
food.
we think of food, right? But basically, that's only a couple hours out of the day. Now, do you have patients that go back to work the next day?
Definitely you can go to work the next day. It's really based on how you feel. A lot of times we'll have the, patients will have the procedure on a Friday, so they could kind of just rest over the weekend and then go back to work on Monday.
Because I imagine it does take a couple of days to get used to that feeling
Yeah.
of that object inside of you. But, I mean, it's not obviously that disruptive because so many people get it.
Right.
But the interesting thing about it is that there's no scar. And for most people, the first thing that you think about, like with bariatric surgery, they cut from the outside. So you're going to have scars. With this, nothing visible whatsoever.
It's much safer to go through than a major surgical procedure like the bariatric procedures.
So my question to you is, how much in advance does a patient have to book this? In other words, they're planning a big trip next summer, and they've got 6-8 months. Is it hard to get in? Like I know with cosmetic surgery, you have to book in advance because obviously you have a lot of patients.
Yeah.
What's the wait time to get in for something like this?
So we like for people to give us at least 2 to 4 weeks. It's not something that if you come in that you're going to have done tomorrow. 2 weeks is probably pushing it, but probably around 4 weeks from the time you've made the decision, and that we can get you in.
And what kind of IV sedation do they use when they're putting the endoscope down? What do you use?
So there's a medicine called propofol that can be used.
Everybody knows that from Michael Jackson.
Well, but that was used at home.
In a hotel room.
That's how I know the word. That's how I know the word.
It works much better, I mean, under the care of an anesthesiologist.
Yeah, and we do have a board-certified anesthesiologist
Well, that's beautiful.
on board. So
and the good thing about it is it's such a relaxing feeling when you go under, but then when you wake up, you're not nauseous, you don't have a headache, and within a half hour to an hour, you don't even know you were ever asleep.
it's actually an amazing drug, and it has made surgery so much easier for so many people. But unfortunately, people think Michael Jackson when they
I
hear
said that humorously only because that's how the word became known to so many of us. But this is a wonderful procedure. I hope everybody watching who has a few pounds to lose will call you, call Accents in Sterling Heights or West Bloomfield. Book your consultation, and within 4 weeks, you'll start getting skinnier. We'll be right back to look at some celebrities.
Tarno knows doors. We've got garage doors, entry doors, storm doors, custom doors. Tarno knows doors.
Plus, the latest LiftMaster garage door openers and the toughest retractable screens on the market, all by the push of a button. Tarno Doors is celebrating its 50th year anniversary and is the recipient of the 2016 Subcontractor of the Year from the Home Builders Association.
Tarno knows doors. Tarno knows doors.
And action. And millions of ducks. The 2 guys go to newradiomedia.com.
The Arts and Entertainment Channel on New Radio Media .com.
It's all about you, and that's the way we like it.
Where you're going.
What you do to stay fit.
What you're eating.
What you're thinking?
and how you're feeling. Join the conversation at newradiomedia.com's Lifestyles channel.
Stream the life you want to live.
Join us in welcoming Cali. Cali, we're always happy to see you because this is when we get to look at our celebrities and try to guess what they've had done and critique them. So who's first today?
I think the first celebrity that we have today is Steven Tyler.
From Aerosmith.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. Okay. They don't even look like the same person, but
No.
are those in actual chronological order?
I believe so. I believe those are chronological. I'm not 100% sure. But as you can tell, from left to right, he's definitely changed. You can tell in his eyes, his lips. You were saying that his lips might be natural?
think that from what I read, he does have big lips, because even in the first picture, you can see he does have full lips.
But it's hard for somebody to keep a lip that full that long in your life. And so I still think he's had some volume added at some point. But if you look at him from the middle picture to the picture on the end, if that is chronological order, he definitively had filler.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely. That's why I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
He looks older in the middle than
Right.
he does on the right. His face is so smooth. He's had
Yeah.
maybe more than filler.
and being he is thin, so that filler is not his own body fat, and probably one of the hyaluronics like Juvederm used to fill in, and it's actually quite beautiful, the change from where he is in the middle to the end picture. It's actually a
Whoever
nice
did
change.
it, that's good
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, it is good
because
work.
His skin texture looks beautiful. His eyes seem to get smaller with each picture. Look at the first picture to the third.
Very true.
Well,
his eyes have gotten thinner, smaller.
They look grungy almost in the first picture, and then on the right, he just seems to be glowing. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, so I mean, the first picture he actually has eye makeup on too.
Correct,
So
right.
so that changes the look, and he doesn't have it in the last one. And then again, you know, the male brow has come down, and he, with his hair, it's hard to see, but it looks like he had some filler in his temples too. And the temples are the new cheeks, and just by adding a little bit of filler into the temple, it actually gives a more youthful look as well. But I think he looks great in the last picture.
He does.
I
He
think so,
does.
too.
He looks so much better than the middle picture.
Yeah.
So whatever he's doing, keep doing it,
Let's see.
Stephen.
Yeah.
He looks good.
Who do we have
Next?
next?
Next celebrity, I believe, is Wendy Williams. Definitely a change. That
Oh my goodness.
hourglass figure, definitely in the right there, and probably lost some weight a little bit too.
She has some weight loss, but she probably had on her body some liposuction, which accentuates her chest even further for her.
Now, do you think that's natural? Do you think those are her natural breasts? Because she looks to be very top heavy. So
Yeah.
do you think that's natural?
So without seeing a picture of her early on, it's hard to say, but it could be her natural chest, and it could have been, you know, elevated for her at a later time as well. Hard to say. But, you know, as far as her face is concerned, her nose was definitely thinned down, because that's not just weight loss. She probably, in the before picture as well as the after, has a little bit of Botox to help her brow too. But her cheek, she definitely had fillers in her cheek, because beforehand the apple of her cheek is full, and in the after picture she has more along the bone that lifts within that area too for her. And her upper lip looks to have some filler in it as well.
Do you think she's wearing Spanx or something under her clothes? 'Cause
She
she's-
probably is, but that's more than Spanx.
No, it is. I mean, it looks like she had ribs taken out
Yeah.
to make her waist that much tinier.
Looks very
So,
tiny.
Very tiny.
Kind of out of balance in a way.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed over the years she's just very much changed to an
Her body got
hourglass.
skinnier, but her breasts stayed the same.
Yeah.
So.
And if they are implants, they were probably redone at some point and definitely lifted. Let's see who's next.
Yes. Next celebrity, Ben Affleck. He's definitely changed a little bit. His face definitely filled out.
So some of that's definitely maturity. And, you know, he has the forehead lines. So I wouldn't necessarily say that he's had Botox. His skin, you know, looks quite nice. So he may be using some skincare regimen. But, you know, the other thing is his nose. Yeah, that's the only thing is I would say his nose. If you look at his nostrils, that's changed. But besides his nose, I wouldn't specifically say that anything's necessarily...
He's not that old. So he's in his 40s, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think late 40s.
Yeah, so obviously he still looks pretty good.
Yeah. His hairline, too, as well. Like
I think that's his own hair. It looks pretty much like it's his own hair.
He was definitely gifted.
He's genetically blessed.
Yeah.
And who do we have next?
Next is Bella Thorne, Disney Channel celeb. And
she's so young. What could she have done?
No, her lips, for
Her lips have been enhanced.
Yes, definitely.
Her nose, it could be the angle we're looking at, but to me that looks as if she's had a rhinoplasty. And cheeks are fuller, but that a little bit could be makeup, but it's such a full cheek that I think it's a little bit of filler as well.
Okay.
She definitely looks different from the first to the second.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, you can see that.
Her teeth as well.
It just goes to show that when you've got the money to do all these things, as everyone in Hollywood does, it's almost like required to keep up your youth, to look as pretty as you can for as long as you can. And thanks to you, Doc, anybody here in the Detroit metropolitan area can look like a movie star.
At much more affordable prices than Hollywood.
And also, I would say, probably a better job. Anyways, thank you so much. We'll be back next week with Accent Your Beauty.